Hi everyone. Before we begin, I would like to emphasize that this video is separate from my work and is part of my desire and effort to bring zero-cost information to developers. So today I will try to show you some tricks to build portable executable for Linux. For that, we'll start with a C++ program that uses a C++17 feature. So here, stud file system exists. And we'll try to run this program on Ubuntu 20 and Ubuntu 16 and see what are the problems there. So let's first compile this program on Ubuntu 20. Let's run it. As you see, it works as expected. The home folder actually exists, so it returns 1. I have the same setup now below on Ubuntu 16 that share the same build directory, so I can just go ahead and run this executable as well. But as you see, it doesn't work. And it says that basically our local libstdc shared library is missing the symbols of version GLIBC 3.4.26. So let's investigate a bit with LDD. So we see that this library requirement is actually satisfied by this local library. So now we can also, with LDD, look at the version that are needed by this library. So we use -v. And as we see here, libstdc requires specific versions. So it requires CXX ABI 1.3, GLIBC 3.4, 3.4, and 3.4.26. And this is the one that is actually missing. And now we can also check which symbols are using this version on our executable. So for that, we can use objdump and just grep the version glibc we want. And here we see that all the stud file system symbols are requiring this version, as well as here some basic string view version, which are also C++17 features. So it makes sense. So to fix such issue, we have two solutions. Either we can ship the executable together with our version of libstdc that contains C++17, but that might be quite big. It might be useful if you have, for example, multiple executables that you want to ship and that rely on the same library. Then you can use -r path, so the relative path from your executable, to find this executable, the share library that you're shipping with. Another option is actually to use GCC to build statically with the glibc that you're using. So we'll try that. So for that, we'll use -static -libstdc++, and we'll try to run it on our Ubuntu 16. As you see, it works. So now let's inspect a bit what's inside this executable. And as you can see, we don't have a libstdc++ anymore, simply because it's part of this executable now. So now, as you can imagine, the drawback is the size of our binary that exploded. And you're right, it's 1.5 megabyte now instead of 22 kilobyte before using the share library. So there are ways also to reduce this size. It will not be something magical we'll do here, but it can help. So first thing we can do is just strip the executable. So we'll remove some symbols and look at the size again. And now we are down to 1.1 megabytes. It's a bit smaller. Another option is actually to, while you compile your program, you can put all function and data in specific sections and tell the linker to garbage collect the section that are not used. So we can try that. We'll use something called function section and data sections. And we'll pass to the linker a GC section, which are garbage collection sections. So let's see the new size now of our executable. It's 7, so it's much smaller than before, a bit more than twice. But still it's quite big. We can also strip again this executable now. And we get down to a size almost 3 times lower than what we had originally. So those are ways to reduce the size. It's not perfect. It might not be for everyone, but it's always a balance of whether you want portability or you prefer small size. So now let's jump to another type of program. Let's write a C program that uses an API that is part of the libc, but it's part of two different versions of libc. So we'll use quick exit and we'll try to run it. So let's clear our terminal first. We'll try to run it on Ubuntu 20 first. So you see it runs. And if we run it on Ubuntu 16, we have an error saying that the glibc 2.24 doesn't have this symbol. Even though this is a feature that should be there, this quick exit API is part of the glibc on Ubuntu 16. So let's investigate a bit more. Let's use LDD again with the version here. So as you see, as we expected, it's looking for glibc 224, but it's not found. While on Ubuntu 20, 224 is found. So this symbol is part of the libc, the local libc. So we can use objdump also to check which symbol is using 2.24, and as expected, it's quick exit. And now we can use objdump on the shared library of libc to see what our version of quick exit. So you see this symbol exists, but it's just using a different version, a lower version. And this is simply because sometime in the process, when a new glibc version is released, some symbols are improved. So some functions are improved. So they share the same symbol name, but just the version is bumped. And if you compile your program on a newer machine, it will try to link with the latest version, which means that if you run it on a older machine, it might not work, even though this function is available. So a trick to make it work is actually to compile your program on old machine. So for that, you can actually use easily this trick by using Docker. So you can spawn old Debian on your machine with Docker and build it with the and and mount your current folder as a build folder. So which means that you will share the actually same folder as before. Now we will try to install GCC to build our executable on this machine. So it takes a bit time. Yeah, and now we'll go to our build folder, so which is shared between those three terminals, so those three machines. Now we can build our program again. So let's look with LDD which version of glibc it's using now. And as you see, now we are using 2.10, so which is the same as the one used by Ubuntu 16. So now it should work. Our executable should work everywhere. So let's try on Ubuntu 20 first. It works. Let's try now on Ubuntu 16. All right, and that's it. So I hope that those tricks help you to know and to see how to build portable executable. And if you have more suggestions, more tricks, more compilation options, please add it to the comments. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe.